Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you for stopping in. Today, I have an exciting one for you. We are taking a look at a newly released Remette knife. Thank you to Remette for sending this in for us to take a look at. If you like knife and EDC content, make sure you are subscribed here to the channel. I release daily videos, and hit the thumbs up button. That helps push the video out there to more people, and let us know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. So admittedly, I've already been into this package here, and I had started the unboxing, and I realized my microphone was not turned on. So had to stop it and restart. So this is the new Remette Peregrine Falcon here. Now, this is not a brand new release for, November, October, but it is a newer release for Remette. So this is going to be more on their premium side of their lineup, between $200 and $300, and that is definitely more premium for Remette compared to when they first came into the knife scene. They were putting out $20, $30, $40 knives, and they still do dabble in the budget area and do a great job. But they have kind of put the pedal to the metal and put out some really attractive premium ended designs. So this thing has quite a bit going on with it. We are looking at a titanium pivot lock here. Now, I'm not sure what they're calling it. This is just an unboxing. This isn't a review of this knife, so if you expect me to know the name of it, I didn't research the knife before doing the unboxing, and I have watched little to no content on this knife as well. So I just don't, there's certain things I won't know until we do a further review on it. But I do know a couple of things, and it is sporting a pivot lock there, and it feels very good. I have limited experience with pivot locks. There are only so many out there, and I've only handled a couple of them. Right off the get-go, it feels very good. It feels very similar to the ones that I've handled here in the recent past. We are looking at M390, 59 to 61 on the HRC. We are looking at a Tanto blade here, and it looks very good. A nice low-tipped harpoon Tanto blade, and that is going to be a very useful blade shape for some people. Now, I really like how this has this fuller area here, but there's actually nothing up here. It gives it a really cool aesthetic, but then when you get here, you do have a little bit of a ridge there that you could use for the reverse flick. You could use it for the thumb flick, but then you do have a cutout here, and you have a front flipper. So you'll be able to thumb and reverse flick this out. You'll be able to slow roll it out, use the button to throw it out, and then it also has the front flipper there as well, which you should be able to do all the, it's stout. It's got a good feeling detent, but you can do all the front flipper things your little heart desires. So very good out there on the blade and internally. Ceramic ball bearings, ceramic detent ball, of course. Everything is nice and smooth. It's going to have that button lock style drop, but boy, do you get all the satisfaction of a nice strong detent out of this thing. And it's impressive that they're able to accomplish that strong of a feeling with that detent, but you can slow roll this thing out. Typically, when a detent is nice and strong, if you're trying to slow roll them out, there are exceptions. I think the lock plays a lot into this one maybe, but it's a little bit or a lot harder, or you almost can't do it if the detent is too strong. You just can't do it because the blade wants to kick itself out. But in this, you can just slow roll that bad boy right on out there. And then you have a nice 50-50 area here. And although this isn't going to be classified in inches as a full-size knife, or at least what I consider, this isn't going to be over 8 inches. But because of the handle design and below the pivot here and how tall and thick this knife is, it's going to feel very similar to a full-size knife. I bet we're looking at, Yeah, 7 and like 3/4, which is exactly, that's what I thought. I thought it was a little short, but it's easily classified as a full-size knife. We're looking at 3 1/4 cutting edge and about 3 1/2 overall. Now, what does that look like in regards to comparisons? We got the drop bear and the raccoon there, and it's going to be much larger than the drop bear. Similar in length to the raccoon here, but going to be much more substantial and taller as well. And we'll do 2 more here. We got the Civivi Bull Tusk, which is going to be almost dead on in its length. And we have the full-size Kaiser Militao here. This is going to be a little bit larger, just a little bit in the handle and a very small amount in the blade. So if you have either of these two, this is going to be a good comparison for you. Before we move on to the weight, I do want to tell you that this does have a secondary lock here, which must slide behind the pivot here. Now, like I said, I haven't seen anything on this. I haven't seen any disassemblies, but some sort of mechanism is going to slide here and prevent you from pushing that button in when you're using the knife. So kind of a secondary safety measure. Which is really cool, really nice, and well thought out. It does have texturing on both sides, so it should be nice and easy to move back and forth. And, you know, we can do this whenever, but you can use the pivot lock here as well as the liner itself. So you have a ton of fidgetability with this knife. I mean, tons of different opening methods. Then you have 2 ways to disengage the knife as well. So very, very cool. As far as the weight goes, it doesn't feel real heavy. It's under 5 ounces. I'm going to say 4.7. Ooh! 4.75, baby. We'll say 4.7. Let's just give me that one. Just give me that one since I've had a string of bad ones lately. Now, as far as what this looks like in the pocket here, we're going to have a standard milled clip with 2 torque screws there. And so this should look very similar to any other standard milled clip. Very good retention there at the start of that clip. And it is going to carry like a standard milled clip. You'll have a nice landing spot there. And that's going to have good retention, like I said. Very good. We'll have to do a little bit more diagnosing. It's pretty tight, though, but it does seem, that might not be a bother at all. I'll have to, when we do the review of this, have to look into that. But it has great retention, so if that's something you're worried about, that is not going to be a problem with this knife. Lanyard fans, they got a spot there for a lanyard that is integrated into that titanium backspacer there. Why don't we go ahead and we'll check the edge on this thing, and then we'll see how that lock holds up. Start placing your bets now. I am willing to bet the lock holds up and does just fine. And we have a very nice edge on that primary. Ooh, yeah. And they didn't mess around with that secondary edge either. Whoo, yes. Very nice. Very, very nice. Yes, it's not a tell-all, but if it can cut this telephone book paper, which is absolute garbage, it's going to have a pretty good edge on it. And I said it in the last video, which we took a look at a more budget-ended Remette, the RTBG, I think it was called. And something just felt very different with that knife compared to what I've handled from them in the past. It almost felt like a completely different knife, a completely different company made it. So that's just a testament to Remette really putting in the work. I think they have inserted themselves into the community, much like a Kaiser has done. And I think that's the key to success. Stay in the community, stay involved, take suggestions from the community, and put that stuff back into your products. And I think that's a recipe for success no matter what you're doing, but especially with knives. I think it is imperative to stay in tune with the community because, if anything, if time has presented nothing else, it's that companies who don't put in that type of work, they start to fall behind the times, and eventually they are creating a product that is very limited, right? To a very limited number of people because of the materials, because of the way the knives are done and built and all that sort of thing. So it is a very good idea to stay involved into the community. We do have very nice tight tolerances here. The blade is perfectly centered up. Can't get over how good that opening action is. That thumb flick is beautiful beyond belief. The reverse flick is very good as well. I just love a good thumb flick, but I like reverse flicks too. I think we're going to have a very solid blade here. If you don't know, the spine whacker is going to test this lock and make sure it's not just going to slip off the tang. And we'll give it a couple more here. It sounds very good. Given that thud back, it's going to be just fine. So they have themselves a very good, seemingly very good lock here. And I have not heard a single issue with anyone having lock failure with their Peregrine Falcon. So I think it's safe to say they kind of figured out, have the secret sauce, if you will, for that pivot lock. And going back to what I was saying earlier about this not being quite a full-size knife in inches, the way this is designed, I wear an XL glove, so, maybe you could say I have a little bit larger than average hands. I have so much room on this knife. It is ridiculous. If I'm choked all the way up here behind the edge, in a safe distance still, look at all that handle. You can fit another finger and a half, 2 fingers on that handle there. And if I'm back here, look at all that reach I have. And I still have all my fingers on there. So there is a ton of room to get figured out on this handle. So people who have very large fingers or very, chubby fingers, whatever, this might be a good candidate for you if you're looking in that $200 to $300 range. Now, I will have links to this knife and all the versions of it. There are several versions from what I've seen, at least 5 or 6 different versions, and they range, between, I think it was $230 and $250? It was somewhere in that ballpark, like $230 to $250, depending on which model and where you get it. I will have it linked through Remette. I'll have it linked through Amazon. But there are very loud versions of this knife. There's very subtle versions. And then there's some that are kind of right in the middle. Like this one, it's very subtle, but has a nice splash of color there with that flamed or lightning anode titanium collar there around the button. I don't mind that one bit. Sometimes the lightning anode can be overwhelming, but in this case, it's just a nice subtle little splash of it, and it really goes really good with the knife. Nice little stop pin there. Very nice. I like this thing quite a bit. You'll have to let me know. What do you think of Remette? I had quite a few people tell me that they felt the same way from a couple years ago or, 2 years ago, say, to now. Remette has really come a long way. So you'll have to let me know if you have that same experience. Let me know what you think of the Peregrine Falcon here. I love hearing your thoughts and opinions on these newer knives. And let me know what you think of Remette. I think they have the key to success here. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. That helps push this video out there to more people. If you're new here, I release daily knife and EDC content just like this. Make sure you are subscribed here to the channel. Ring the bell. That'll notify you anytime I release new content, even when I go live. And I do go live every Saturday, Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Anyone and everyone is welcome to come by and hang out as long as you would like. I'd love to see you there. I will put up a couple of new videos on your screen right now. Go check one of them out for me. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I will catch you on the next one.